MSNBC and their panel of Trump-hating propagandists. Mark Levin calls them MSDNC. And for me, the D stands for Democrat. Delusional, demons, demonic, devils? Dare I say devils too? Devils too. So, in this conversation, we're going to have a visit into the other realm. And when I say that, I mean the realm of Democrat delusional propagandists, and no other place than MSNBC. And we're going to take a look at Morning Joe and some of their propagandist panels talking about this trial, New York City, and what Trump is going to. And we're going to jump from Morning Joe to another show where they have the so-called Michael Steele, who was so-called the Republican RNC chair. How? Don't know how that happened, but he is probably no longer, because I don't see how he could even be a Republican. Maybe he doesn't want big government. Maybe that's his thing when it comes to being a Republican. Other than that, I don't know what else, because he certainly is no Republican, no conservative to me. And so he says a quote. Matter of fact, they use it in their line that Trump was caged like an animal. Hello, friend, and welcome to the Conservative Poet. My name is Amania, and I do political commentary reactions videos here. So I throw in some comedy, some parody, a little bit of my personality, just to make fun of the crazies. Because believe it or not, friend, we are living in Cocoa for Cocoa Puff world, and if we don't have a few laughs, we are going to become Cocoa for Cocoa Puffs as well. And so if you're interested in that, then you've come to the right place, and you can stay tuned for that video right now.
Sort of the showman that Donald Trump is. You know, he loves to have his rallies. He gets the crowd going. They're screaming. They're applauding for him saying the most disgusting things about January 6 hostages and a choir, and crowds going wild. They love it. He loves it, and he's got this energy. And he walks outside the courtroom, and every day he's got this opportunity before walking in and after walking out to talk to the cameras. But I think it's a very different scene. It's dour, it's dark, it's gloomy, it's gross. He's got the worst fluorescent lighting going right through his hair. And I just wonder if he feels just not like he can really do his thing from this position. And also the people taking pictures and asking questions. It's the New York media, maybe some people on the street if they're there. It just doesn't seem like he's got his game on, even though it's an opportunity to
Seen that, heard that, good. So I don't watch any of the MSDNC commentators. I just do not. Every now and then I'll grab a clip like we're doing today. So, what really is disgusting to me is the way this woman shapes her face when she's talking about Donald Trump. She's got this disgust, this disdain upon her face as she talks about him. That's number one. Number two is that these people really do have Trump derangement syndrome. Seems to me that all they do is talk about Trump. And I get it, this right now is a feast. They are feasting off Trump because this trial, and he just might they just might be successful this time around. And that's how they're looking at it. Just let it happen. Let Stormy Daniels be the one to put the coffin in the nail, to put the nail in the coffin, right? Let Stormy be the one. Let this be it. So we don't have to deal with him in November. So we don't have to go through all this. Let this be it so we can go to the next plan. And this is what they do. They absolutely hate Donald Trump, and you can tell.
I think
Donny?
the net, when you watch what's going on with him and you watch what's going on with this trial, is a yuck. This whole thing is a yuck.
So gross.
It's just gross. The whole thing is sleazy. It's tawdry. It's ugly. Look, the story we did before this was about abortion and women's health rights. And then you see this circus act, this sleaze act, this greasy, slimy story. And I think it's tired. This feels like a moment in time. You look at it and there's abortion and there's democracy issues and there's two wars going on and there's a crisis at the border. And I just think the average American looks at this and says, I've had enough. I've had enough. You know, this has been a show, and whether you like it or hate it, you've leaned in. We've leaned in since he came down that elevator in 2015. It feels like it's time that people are leaving out. They've just had enough.
It's the exhaustion factor.
It's exhausting. Stop it. I can't look at you. And by the way, the lack of crowds speak to that. There are no crowds outside. No. It's 8 people, it's 10 people, it's 12 people, it's somebody with their iPhone holding it up.
And they're not Trump supporters. There's a few, but a lot of them are just QAnon and conspiracy theory people. There's not a lot of flags.
No, it just feels like it's over. And by the way, this was the trial that was not going to matter. This was not the electoral college. This was not the election stealing trial. This was not the insurrection trial. This was not the documents trial. This was the trial that didn't. What it matters, it shows that he just doesn't seem to matter as much.
Seen that, heard that. Good. I absolutely agree with some of the things that Donny douchebag just had to say. So, yes, we, the American people, can see right through this, and we are simply tired. We're tired of lawlessness. We're tired of these Trump up charges. We're tired of these things that's absolutely crazy how this administration is doing to take down a political opponent. This is what the American people is exhausted with. And this is why, this is where we're going to part ways, friend. This is why people are rallying behind Donald Trump more and more each day. Okay? Rallies, thousands and thousands of people standing on the street waiting to get in. They don't want to tell you that they're saying, oh no, there's just a couple of people who's got flags out. No, there's a lot more people than that. But they don't want you to know that. When Trump have these rallies, I think he recently had one in Philadelphia in the back of Joe Biden's neck of the woods, by the way. And this was like record breaking. So whatever it is that you're talking about, friend, I don't think you have a clue, because we, the American people, is behind Donald Trump even more because of these bogus trials, because of these bogus charges. You mentioned it, the January 6th trial, the Fannie Willis trial, the hush money trial, all of these different ones, the documents trial, which, by the way, Joe Biden did as well when he was not even president, but he's too old and senile to be handled with that, right? He's too old and senile. But Donald Trump, sure, we'll crucify him. We'll crucify him. And so, yeah, the American people see this, we hear it, we acknowledge it, and we're sick of it.
Well, I don't know. Simone, it just feels like sometimes the emperor has no clothes, and in this, it just feels like one of those moments where, like, we're hearing about his private life. Nobody wants to know about it, by the way. Nobody wants to imagine that. Nobody wants that mental image, okay? And on top of it, you got this guy named Pecker. You keep hearing Pecker, Pecker, Pecker. It's ridiculous.
It's so ironic, Mika. It's like if you wrote this in a script and tried to sell it, they would be like, please, the ridiculousness and the over the top is too much for me. I mean, Mika, I think you're right. And I take Donny's point, right? He looks small, and it's very diminishing. Like, Donald Trump was the 45th president of the United States of America. Okay, the presidency is the pinnacle of everything, and not just here in America, I mean across the world. And sitting in a courtroom, standing outside of that courtroom with the bad fluorescent lighting, sitting there, he looks small. This does not look like a world leader. And I think the pictures and these images, they are making this across, you know, they are making this into the, as I like to say, the non-political group chats. I think the details here, though, which is why the reporting and people like Suzanne, who have been in and out of the courtroom throughout this trial, are so important, and Catherine, who can really break down for us what all these things mean. The detriment to the American people is that they cannot see this for themselves, right? And I think the best thing that happened for the American people while Donald Trump was president, when COVID happened, was the COVID briefings, because they could see the crazy for themselves. And they are not able to see the crazy for themselves. They have to read about it and live vicariously through Mika and I's reenactments of the pecker on the stand. And I think that is, I don't think it doesn't matter. I just think that people, it's not front and center for them in a way in which that is completely accessible to them. And so some of the details are missed, which is why what we do here is so important.
Seen that, heard that, good. Tackle me this, friend. This is she who worked for Kamala Harris and could not handle Kamala Harris. I don't know what happened, if Kamala fired her or she quit Kamala or however it went, but she was the handler for cackling Kamala. And now she's moved on to greener pastures, where she is a mouthpiece for the Democrat Party on these here shows. And so, again, not much there, not really a lot. But I find it interesting how Misha says that, well, we don't want to have that visual, you know, Donald Trump having sex, pretty much. We don't want to have that visual. But yeah, you do, friend, because every single day you come on here on MSNBC and you talk Trump, 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 Trump all day long. Honey, I think even when you're asleep, Trump is in your head. You know, what you having your coffee, Trump is in your head. You having your own sex, and Trump is in your head. Probably in all y'all heads, because they got Trump derangement syndrome. And so this woman is saying, well, yeah, he looks small. He looks small. He doesn't look presidential. Or he just looks, you know what he is? He is exhausted with these fake trials, these fake charges. He is exhausted trying to campaign, having to show up from this court to that court to this court to that court to do this dog and pony show that you all are putting on. So the man is tired. I don't know if you know what that means, but he is tired. Try putting old Joe Biden through this. See how much he lasts. Put your Lord and Savior Joe Biden through this and see how far he gets. Trump is on the move every goddamn day, every minute. Runs circles around Joe Biden. And she brought up when, during the COVID, how, you know, Trump would come out and have his press conferences. He'd be out there every single day. He'd be out there talking to them. Every day he'd be out there on the lawn talking to reporters. Biden don't even do that. You can't even catch that. As he wobbly moseying on down. That's who Joe Biden is. So, make no mistake that Donald Trump is gearing up to do just what he needs to do, and that is to take down Joe Biden. Thank you very much. What would MSDNC and fake news CNN do without Donald Trump? They probably wouldn't exist. They'd probably be shut down because nobody would be watching their channels. Nobody is watching their stations. They should be grateful for Donald Trump. Hello, fellow patriots. Thank you so much for your support. And again, you can do so by purchasing products from the Orlando Patriots, mugs, t-shirts, all of your patriotic gear. We are in an election year, so we need to show the world that we support our candidates, especially President Trump. So get some gear at theorlandopatriot.com and you'll get 30% off. Thank you for your support. It means the world to me. I'll see you there.
You would arrange to go someplace, how would it be arranged?
I would pay for the flight. I would book it myself. I would book the hotel room if I wasn't staying with him. Usually I stayed with him, but there's been a couple times where I didn't. And then he would reimburse me. So if the flight was, I don't know, let's just throw out a number. If the flight was $500, he'd give me $500 and say, here's, take care of the flight and things like that. So
why would he have you book all the travel and the hotel rooms?
Well, there's no paper trail.
And did you realize that at the time?
Yes, I did. Mm-hmm.
Because he was concerned about it being revealed at some point and there being a paper trail.
All I was told is there's no paper trail. I can't say what his reasons were, but I would assume that's the case. Yes.
And this is the other half of it, right? That she believed that she was in love with him and she believed that he was in love with her. And that she knew from the beginning that she had to lay out her own money because there could be no paper trail. Clear evidence that he wanted it kept hidden. And she says she's not sure why, but clearly keeping it secret was the point.
So Miss Karen McDougal sitting down with Mrs. Anderson Cooper from back in 2018. And so I don't know too much about this woman or her story with President Trump. But from what I understand in her story, again, I had to Wikipedia her because don't know too much about her. So she is some sort of model and she's done work for Playboy. And I think in early 2000s, she was named runner-up to the sexiest female. She wasn't the sexiest. She was runner-up. So you didn't get the trophy, friend. You didn't get the trophy. And she also broke some sort of barrier where she was the first woman. We all know how the first is so critically important to the left. And so she was the first woman on some men's magazine. So I don't know. She was, the first woman on a men's magazine. So those are some of the things that I know about her. So she's really into fitness, model, so on. And she's allegedly had an affair with President Trump for about six to 9 months or 9 months or something like that. So that's her story. Don't know too much about it, but MSNBC pulled this out of the old archives to display their dog and pony show today. So just had to address that real quick.
The social media platforms might break. I mean, I'm just, and I hate myself for thinking about what he's going to think and do, but I can't help but thinking about what he's going to think and do.
Oh yeah, no, he is going to lose his mind with this portion of the examination into his actions. Pecker laying this narrative out very precisely, very concisely. We've already seen in stuff that just leading up to this, Nicole, where he's like a caged animal. You can almost sense the pacing back and forth, trying to figure out what he can say, how he can say it. He's been a little bit boxed in by, the gag order and whatever his counsel's been telling him. But I think this is where some of the lid comes off of that. That steam is going to get released. And I will not be surprised at certain portions of this testimony where he is audibly expressing his anger and frustration in the courtroom, as he did just during the voir dire with the jurors. And they were just being asked, what do you think of Trump? They was like, they wasn't getting into any juicy stuff. So, now we get into the juicy parts. Oh yeah, this brother gonna lose his mind.
Seen that, heard that, good. There, she admits it. that Donald Trump really does live in her head. And he lives in all of their heads, right? That's where he lives. They can't help but think about what he's going to do, what he's going to think, what he's going to tweet, what he's going to say. And they just sit there waiting, just like a spider, waiting for it, because this is how they get their fix. This is their life. This is it. Donald Trump lives inside of their brains. Anyway, here is this never Trumper Democrat in wolves clothing. This here Michael Steele. So one thing I'm going to say with you, Mr. Michael Steele, is that President Donald J. Trump, you see those looks, you see that? You saying it, he's caged up. They're tying his hands. He is like a wolf, like a bull in a china shop, right? When he gets ready, he's going to tear it all down. So y'all better be prepared for such a day as that. Be prepared, because he's controlling himself. He's letting it be. Because you know what? Because I believe he's letting it be, and God is gonna step in and do some things. And when that happens and Donald Trump lets loose, y'all better be prepared. And I don't want to hear y'all calling, oh, you know, Donald Trump did this and Donald Trump did that. Oh, he's wicked, or he's whatever. No. You're seeing it right now. All of these things that they're doing to him, this gag order, he can't tweet about this. And if he retweets somebody's tweet, now the judge is saying, oh, well, you broke the law. You broke the gag order by retweeting somebody's tweet. He's not tweeting it himself. He's retweeting somebody's tweet. But now they're saying, well, no. It's like you said it. You broke the gag by retweeting. I mean, it's bizarre. And he can't have conversations about it, but all of them, everybody else can come out here and have conversation, talk about it, but he can't. The lawyer, she's out there probably talking about it. Everybody's out there talking about it, but Donald Trump has to zip his mouth. So yeah, he's sitting there angry. Yeah. Annoyed. Yeah. Upset. Yeah. And when his turn comes, make no mistake, he's going to trample just like a bull in a china shop. How did these talentless people ever get their own private shows? How did they ever get their shows? I just don't get it. But Donald Trump keeps them fed, because the more Donald Trump is out here, the more they've got stories to tell. They can sit here all day long, dream up stuff, come up with stuff, and just talk all day about Trump, about his hair, about his body, about his wife, about his sex, about his life, about the court. Donald Trump is the content maker king. When I tell you, they keep these propagandists, MSNBC, in business. So anyway, friends, that's going to be the video. Let me know what you thought about it. What did you think about the propagandists and their takes on this whole conversation? So thank you, guys. God bless you. God keep you. And by the way, I do have memberships and where you can see me behind the scenes on the ground when I hit the streets with other YouTubers and we do street interviews. You'll be able to see a lot of the behind the scenes on those events. So only place you're gonna see that is really in my membership. So it's about $4.99, I believe is what it is, and I would really love to have you join. That way you can stay abreast on what we're doing on the street. So that is the membership. And again, you can cancel anytime. And it does really help me with the channel and what I'm doing here to get equipment, to get the things that I need in order to do the show. So I'm grateful and thankful to you all of you who has subscribed. Really appreciate it. And those of you who's going to come and subscribe, I'm already thanking you in advance. So again, God bless and God keep, and I will see you in another video. God bless Trump, right? Because he keeps these people in business.